Abigail, right?
How do you know her?
Were you about 8 weeks pregnant? See, you've been spotting recently. You've had any cramps or nausea?
That's personal.
You've been taking your prenatal vitamins?
Excuse me?
And your navigation is set to a women's health clinic in one of those abortion states.
We have the right to travel.
Not anymore. You, sir, are under arrest for crossing state lines to obtain an abortion for a minor under your care. And you, young lady, well, you're under arrest for evading motherhood.
All right, that was a new Lincoln Project political ad that rolls out tomorrow on both digital and TV platforms. Back with my panel, Scott.
You know what I was wondering?
You know what I will say? I'll just say this about the ad. I mean, it's an example of how this issue is going to be presented to voters.
Well, I'm glad to see we have very serious people putting out very serious advertising. I mean, look, by the way, you make this?
I didn't make it, but I'm with the Lincoln Project, and I think it's going to be a very effective ad.
So when you watch
the
these...
problem with the unimaginable is it's difficult to imagine. And what you have here are these laws that are being passed. This actually has happened. I mean, they did criminalize someone going out of state in Ohio. And look, when you get these states that ban abortion, you know, they are going to track all this. When you make something a criminal, if you're a woman and you're using an app to track periods, that could become evidence against you in a trial. That is the world here. And one thing about it is, you know, we only banned abortions in states like Mississippi for poor people. Because everybody I grew up with in Mississippi who had money and something, they wanted to get an abortion, they would get an abortion. Right. And that is still going to happen. And it is absolutely more impactful on those with lower economic strata. And this is what has happened. And the idea that we can just sort of say, well, you know, it's just policy, something that people thought was a constitutional right for almost 2 generations has been taken away. And I think it is about liberty, and it is about the heavy hand of government.
Well, okay, to this point, I mean, obviously the Trump campaign, they're already starting to try to maneuver around this reality on abortion. Here's J.D. Vance talking about what Trump would do when it comes to a national abortion ban.
If such a piece of legislation landed on Donald Trump's desk, would he veto it?
Well, I think it'd be very clear he would not support it. I mean, he said that explicitly.
It?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not supporting it as the President of the United States, you fundamentally have to veto it.
So he would veto a federal abortion ban?
I think he would. He said that explicitly, that he would.
He's already, by the way, getting criticized by the right for saying that.
I mean, I was at the RNC, and there was some discussion about the platform. There were some changes made in that, and just what language were we going to use and what was going to be the Republican Party's approach on this issue. And it's obvious, I mean, I have to say, watching that ad, it felt like fan fiction. Like, guys, this is, very heightened dramatization, to say the least. But also, this is the only issue that Harris and the Democratic Party really have that they think they can run on. Every single other issue, they're absolutely going to get destroyed on, whether it's the economy, immigration, foreign policy. The latest polling asked people, do you believe our country's going in on the right track or the wrong track? 67% say wrong track, 27% say right track.
You know what's interesting, just to your point about what Republicans think Harris is vulnerable on? They are spending $74 million over the last 30 days on immigration ads attacking her. That's 3 times what they're spending on the economy. I thought the economy
would be the biggest issue.
Would be the big
issue. They're talking to
issue.
their own voters. It's sort of a manifestation of Trump's world. And you saw it in McMaster's book, this competition to flatter Trump. And Trump wants this race to be about immigration. So therefore, if you're working for him, you make ads about immigration. You spend all this money. You're right. You're right.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with that point for one moment here, though, because look at what the Harris campaign is also putting out ads about immigration, using images of the wall, which her VP nominee, Governor Walz, says they don't work, but now apparently we want to use those images in our ads. So this is there's definitely a pivot
we have this
extraordinary
moment where conservative elements in the United States Congress came together to do a bipartisan bill that really would have secured the border more than it's ever been secured.
Yeah, we've heard people
and
say
Trump
that.
said, don't
do it.
pass
Don't do it, because I want to look like
a
a
hero. This
hero.
has never happened before.
A bill has never not passed the Congress ever?
But
that a presidential candidate went out and said,
I just want to go back to the fan fiction comment. I think if you talk to women in Idaho
or in any of the 30 states that actually now have abortion bans, particularly Texas, it doesn't feel like fan fiction. It doesn't feel like they don't have the government being overly intrusive.
Sure.
And they don't feel like that they don't have bodily autonomy to make decisions. And it's just the beginning, because and I know that the point that J.D. Vance was trying to make about Donald Trump vetoing an abortion bill, well, that's nice to say now, but a week after.
But to your point of fan fiction, he said this, and I think it's great. It's hard to imagine the unimaginable. And I think both parties are doing that. But if you want to talk about fan fiction, listen to Trump at any time talk without anybody fact-checking and him making up anything and you literally weaponizing fear at all times.
It is fan fiction, because no bill banning abortion can or will pass the United States Senate.
Doesn't mean you don't want it to happen.
But the question is, well, would he veto this if it lands on? That is completely fantastical. But you made a passionate case for abortion. And Donald Trump has the exact same position as Ronald Reagan. I'm pro-life. I believe in the 3 exceptions: rape, incest, and life of the mother. And oh, by the way, I am the strongest supporter in the Republican Party for IVF. It is no different than Reagan. And you helped Republican candidates win on that for your entire career. And now you're offended by it, and I don't understand.
I'll explain it. Give me a chance to explain it to you. Because
Stuart, you get the last word here.
It is the heavy hand of government. It is stuff happening that we never thought would happen. In these states that have banned abortion completely, what it's forcing women to do, 64,000 women have become pregnant by rapists since Dobbs. 64,000.
And Trump believes in the exceptions for rape.